Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
Hello everyone and welcome to Week in Wanderlust. I'm Urvashi and the last 6 weeks have been quite a ride for me. The next 6 weeks will be quite a ride for you guys as we whisk your way to some of the most exotic and spectacular weekend getaways that this country has to offer. But before we do that, we want to give you a little teaser about what to expect over the course of the series. And to help me do that, we're joined by the CEO and co-founder of Yatra.com, because who better to explain to us what travel is all about than somebody who's made it his business. Thank you very much for joining us and welcome to the first episode.
Thank you so much.
First question, let's start from the beginning. How did it all start, the inception of Yatra.com?
Okay. I think Yatra actually started somewhere in the middle of 2005. The idea, or rather the germination of the idea happened in 2005. I used to work for an online travel company called eBookers out of the UK. And as luck would have it, in early 2005, eBookers got acquired. And post the acquisition, I think one of the first tasks which was done by the new acquirer was to fire me. I used to be the CEO there.
So firing is not always bad.
It's not. I think I would recommend that for most people now. And you know, there's a tradition in the UK that you go out for leaving drinks when someone gets fired. And I had gone for leaving drinks with my team, and somewhere in that moment of Dutch courage, I decided that I wanted to come back to India and start this. So that's the inception. There was another colleague of mine in my team, Manish, who was brave enough.
But he wasn't fired.
No, he wasn't fired at that point. Yeah, I think he must have been drunk enough by then, right, to volunteer to come along. So both of us in early 2006 landed up in India to start Yatra.
Okay, that's quite a story. So are you a travel buff yourself, or was it just a business drunk idea?
No, I think at that point I was definitely a travel buff. I think now I'm more in the business of making others travel. So unfortunately, I get to travel only on work, don't get much time off.
Okay, so do you have any favorite weekend getaways, destinations in India?
Sure, I think off Delhi, especially if you look at the weekend destinations which are there. I like going to the hills. It's slightly more than a weekend destination. It needs maybe an extended weekend. But I love Kasauli. Right, we have a small place up there. I like going there often, and it is one of those places which is still relatively untouched by the kind of development that's happening around us. Yeah. But I love going into the hills.
But tell me about this show. This is a collaboration between Yatra.com and CNBC TV 18, and it's about weekend getaways as opposed to full-blown vacations. Why is that so?
Right. I think there is enough information now available about longer breaks. Right. Weekend breaks in India is still a relatively untapped market. It's a newer opportunity. It's also a function of an evolved younger population, right? People like yourself in the younger profile, right, want to travel a lot more. You want to explore a lot more, and I think that environment now is coming up in a more meaningful manner, and thanks to mobile devices, right, there are a lot more people who are able to do this at their fingertips. Hence, we thought it's a good opportunity to provide information and bridge this information gap that exists as of today between the weekend traveler and the information that he or she needs.
Exactly, and also there's just so many places to go to
discover.
And I had a great time, like I will keep mentioning again and again, but it all started in the west of India. So when I say West India, what is the first killer weekend getaway that you can think of?
I think unfortunately Goa has become a weekend break, right? It's become such a universal spot now that the minute you say weekend getaway or an extended weekend, everyone from all over this country wants to fly to Goa. So I think Goa definitely is right up there in terms of perennial favorites. I think the run of Kutch, like you guys discovered, the Gir forest, especially if you're traveling from Ahmedabad or even Surat and Mumbai, right? These are destinations which are coming up in a big way now, right?
Yeah.
We see a lot of interest in these kind of destinations.
All right, so let's give a sneak peek to our viewers into Run of Kutch, a very unique ecosystem. Let's take a look.
Ahmedabad, the largest city in Gujarat. Built along the banks of the Sabarmati River, it is home to 6.3 million people. Historically, Ahmedabad is a place of great significance, with Mahatma Gandhi setting up his Sabarmati ashram here. Ahmedabad was at the center of India's freedom struggle. Today, Ahmedabad is a bustling metropolis with centers of higher learning such as IIM Ahmedabad, MICA and NID, the city has a large student population and the young and the restless are always looking for new adventures. With the historic forts and palaces of Udaipur in neighbouring Rajasthan just a few hours' drive away and the beautiful waters of Diu, part of the Union Territory of Daman and Diu, not too far either, Ahmedabad provides the weekend traveller with a myriad of options. But here at Weekend Wanderlust, we decided to take the road less travelled, and quite literally. 140 kilometers from Ahmedabad, a short 2.5-hour drive away, lies the little Rann of Kutch. The topography changes dramatically and the hustle-bustle of the city gives way to the Great Salt Desert. A wild ride lay ahead as we went on a safari. Wildlife sightings were in order and an ornithologist took us bird watching. But that wasn't all. A cooking lesson with a chef and a visit to local craftspeople made this weekend getaway the complete package. So if the little Rann of Kutch is on your agenda, stay tuned to Weekend Wanderlust and we'll tell you how to make the best of your time there.
Well, just looking at that makes me so nostalgic. It was so beautiful, and I've never seen flora and fauna like that, or just the starkness of the earth. It was amazing. Actually, it's the largest salt desert in the world.
Yeah. It makes me truly envious, right? I think during this episode, it's going to happen many times now. Yeah.
Okay, but tell me, my question for you is, tell me, do you think Indians are intrepid as travelers?
I think they're increasingly becoming intrepid. I think with every generation, that sense of discovery and that zest to go out and explore more is increasing. I don't want to sound disrespectful to our parents, but I think, in that generation, there were different priorities, right? Today, as people, we have evolved a bit more. Our priorities have changed. So there is a sense of excitement and a sense of wanting to explore, right? We see this a lot in our business now, right? Some of the niche destinations, things like adventure travel, which were earlier very limited in India, are gaining a lot of traction at the moment.
Exactly, that is what I was getting at. My next question was, do you see a lot of traffic for such far-flung areas like the Rann of Kutch? And then my next question was going to be about adventure travel. So,
sure. So I think on places like Rann of Kutch, a lot of these places individually might not have enough traffic yet. But collectively, if you were to look at exotic destinations across India and maybe pick a handful, right, pick 10, collectively there will be enough and more demand for them.
Yeah.
On the adventure front, I think adventure as a niche is gaining a bit more traction.
Again, because of change of priorities.
Exactly, change of priorities, a younger population, especially when I look at it from an online perspective, right? The people who are today online are maybe in that 18 to 35 kind of a age group, right? And in that age group, adventure travel definitely is forming an integral part of an annual travel plan.
Yeah. In fact, it's interesting that you say that, because the next location we went to was in the north. It was in Shivpuri. We did some river rafting. I even jumped off a cliff. I'm so proud of that. Let's take a look at that.
Delhi, the capital of India, the epicenter of power and the playground of the power brokers that move the country. Even as the city bears all the hallmarks of a global capital, it remains steeped in history. With iconic landmarks littered across the city, from the Red Fort to Jama Masjid, Qutub Minar to Humayun's tomb, India Gate, Rashtrapati Bhavan and the Parliament. Across the city ruins, mausoleums and memorials make Delhi the perfect tourist destination. But what about the Delhiite? Living in the capital can be challenging and exhausting. So what are the options for the weary big city dweller? For the history lovers, there's the allure of the Taj Mahal in Agra, just a few hours away. Jaipur, Neemrana and Fatehpur Sikri are also attractive options. Situated in the plains right below the mighty Himalayas, Delhi offers many options to the weekend traveller. From quaint and quiet Kasauli to the snow-clad mountains near Manali. But on Weekend Wanderlust, we are going to tread off the beaten path and introduce you to exciting and offbeat weekend getaways. We decided to go on an adrenaline-pumping rafting vacation just a few hours from Delhi. And Shivpuri, just 16 kilometers ahead from the holy city of Rishikesh, was our destination. From camping on the pristine white sands along the Ganges to eating meals by the campfire, discovering the sheer thrill of whitewater rafting and even indulging in some yoga on the riverbank, this vacation had it all. This was just a sneak peek. Keep watching Weekend Wanderlust to get the complete lowdown on this thrilling holiday.
Okay, well, I'm really happy that I ticked that off on my bucket list. And with that, it's time for a short little break. Guys, so we covered 6 destinations. We're 2 down, 4 more to go. So I'm going to pick Dhruv's brain a little bit more. We'll join you after a short little break.